Hello everybody, good evening and welcome to That's Football. It's a massive evening in the world of football. We've got Portugal against North Macedonia for a place in the World Cup in December and the draw on Friday. We've also got England playing a game against Ivory Coast, which is going to be very interesting as well. So lots to get excited about tonight on That's Football. I hope you're all doing very, very well. I certainly am myself, and I'm very excited about this. I mean, I actually have seen people saying, I assume we're all North Macedonia tonight. Assume as an ass in it. Swivel on it. I am not North Macedonia tonight. I agree it's a fairy tale for North Macedonia, but I tell you what, take your fairy tale you had against Italy and go and live off that for the next decade, because I want Ronaldo in his final World Cup. That, to me, is the fairy tale, not North Macedonia. So I am Team Portugal tonight, unreservedly. I think England might have a difficult game against Ivory Coast, by the way. I'm not convinced, looking at the teams, which we'll go through in a minute, I'm not convinced that's going to be an easy game for England tonight. So I've got both screens. I'm just setting them up here. Players are in the tunnel. Well, actually, Portuguese players are on the pitch. Pepe's back. Ronaldo's really emotional. He's nearly crying. I think they'll win this quite comfortably. But what do I know? What do I know? It's time, and I'm live. Viva Ronaldo. I'm live. Let's get that tweet out. Let's get focused on the chat. How are we all doing tonight? Very, very much looking forward to this. Bruno starts. Costa, Mendes, Pepe, Danilo, Cancelo, Fernandes, Moutinho, Otavia, Bernardo, Diego Jota and Ronaldo. So still no place for João Felix. He's on the old periphery. He's on the periphery when it comes to this sort of thing. But, you know. Viva Ronaldo! Viva Ronaldo! Running down the wing. Hey United, sing. Anthony Taylor's the ref. Oh Christ, that's made it even more. Rumours going round that that Board has chosen Poch. Dan, you can't do a super chat about that. Where's the rumour coming from? If you're going to put something like that in, Dan, give us where the rumour's coming from. Because look, I fear that United will make a bad choice and go with Pochettino. I've always feared it. But if your source is Mr. Tomato Ketchup, then it's not really a rumour, is it? But look, I've always feared United would go with Pochettino, but we can talk about that in a little bit. Let's get ready to rumble. I am going to use a timer, but I'm going to use the timer from the for the Portugal game, because I think that's the more important game. It's the more competitive game, so we will definitely use that. Right, I'm going to run through the team news very quickly for you. Obviously, I've just ran through the Portugal team: Jota, Bernardo Silva, and Ronaldo as the front three, as you know. We've also got a midfield of Moutinho and there is another World Cup qualifier as well, Poland versus Sweden as well. So keep your eye on that. I thought there was only one tonight, so I am wrong there. There is Poland versus Sweden as well. Lewandowski against Zlatan. So keep an eye on that as well if you're in the chat. I know a lot of people will be interested in that one as well. Potentially it's a more important game. Well, it's not a more important game. It could be a really interesting game. But the timer's up on the screen. I hope you're all doing well. Make sure you subscribe. You're very welcome on That's Football. It's a channel for everybody. Get involved. There'll always be good debate on here. And the timer's up and running. It's not kicked off at Wembley yet, by the way, if you're interested in that, which you may well be. But yes, the Portuguese side: Costa, Cancelo, Danilo, Pepe, Tavares, Mendes, which is Mendes, Bruno, Moutinho, Otavia, Cristiano Ronaldo, Jota, Bernardo Silva. As we know, that is pretty much the team from the weekend, apart from Cancelo and Pepe coming back into the team. I can tell you that for Poland, Lewandowski does obviously start. And for Sweden, Isaac and Quazon start. Is Zlatan on the bench? Yes, he is. Zlatan is on the bench for Sweden. Lindelof starts in that game. Kulevski, Forsberg. They're not a bad side. Not a bad side, old Sweden, to be fair. England we have got on as well. I can go through the two teams for you. England have got Pope in goal, Maguire, White, Mings, Bellingham, Mitchell, Rice, Ward-Prowse, Sterling, Watkins, Grealish. Apparently Jude Bellingham's playing as a right wing back. I don't know whether that's going to come to pass or not, but what a waste. He has to play a back five, doesn't he? He has to play a back five. We're playing a team that plays a back four. In goal for Ivory Coast, Sangaré, Aurier, Bailly, Deli, Cornet, Kamara, Seri, Kessie, Pepe, Haller, Gradel. I think that Ivory Coast team might beat England. I think it could be an interesting friendly. It'll be a challenging friendly. I'm looking forward to seeing how that goes. Well, they've got it on the screen that England are playing a back four with White as a right back. So maybe we are playing a 4-3-3. Hopefully that is what the case is going to be. But let's keep an eye on what's going on here. Dan's still not come back with where this rumour's come back from about Poch. So I know it's a 2-horse race, Dan, but that's about all I know at the moment. Still not kicked off in the England game, nearly 10-8, and they've not started there. But keep your eye on this. North Macedonia are not a bad side. Like they played in the Euros and they gave a good account of themselves. They've beaten Italy. Portugal are the sort of team that can bottle this sort of game. But this is about whether Ronaldo plays in the last World Cup of his or not. I would love to see. I mean, look, if you'd have said last week, out of the 4 teams who's going to the World Cup, Turkey, North Macedonia, Portugal, Italy, a very small majority of you would have said North Macedonia. Everton Fan TV says, breaking news, Maguire wearing pink boots. He does it on purpose. I was talking to somebody about this a couple of weeks ago who's quite close to the matter, and I was like, is Harry Maguire aware of the whole pink boot thing and Phil Jones? And they said to me, well, whether he is or he isn't, he's aware that people take the piss out of him for wearing pink boots, but he won't stop doing it because that's what he's like. He's just stubborn. So I was like, well, whatever. Hopefully he will prove us wrong. But yeah, if you're going to wear pink boots, you've got to be a decent footballer. White's playing at right back. Interestingly, Declan Rice is the captain for England tonight, not Harry Maguire. So good call by Southgate there. It's not a great back four, is it? Ben White, Tyrone Mings, Harry Maguire. I think Ivory Coast might do quite well in this. But Portugal 0-0 at the moment. Just watching that. I didn't hear about Harry Maguire getting booed. I doubt it. I doubt Harry Maguire would get booed by England. That to be honest, if he gets booed by England, that makes me feel more loyal to him as a United fan. I don't want to see England fans booing him. Sterling's captain. I thought Declan Rice was going to be captain. They must have changed their mind then. Maybe that was because of the... I saw a lot of people talking about that. Was it Instagram post or Twitter post that Declan Rice did years ago? So yeah, and he didn't get booed, says Rafe. Thank you very much. Go North Macedonia, go Sweden, go Senegal, says Lele. Thank you very much. An England player's just gone down injured here very early on. Thanks for the super chats, by the way. Please do subscribe to the channel. I think we're very close to 635,000 if we haven't hit it already. Exciting night ahead. It was actually... Watkins straight down the knee. A red card tackle, really. In the Premier, you'd get a red for that. I mean, he's kicked the ball. It's not done it on purpose. Oh, he's all right. He's all right. He's all right. Play on. Play on. That's what I say. Play on. He was booed, says Southgate out. He was booed. He wasn't booed. He was booed. He wasn't booed. Was he booed? Who cares? At the end of the day. Dan, we're still waiting for you to tell us where you've heard this rumour that Pochettino's got the job. Because I've not heard anything. Well, I can give you some interesting facts about Pochettino. I have to be very careful here because people think I'm against Pochettino as Manchester United manager. Well, you don't need to think about it. I am against Pochettino as Man United manager. 100% against it. Do not want it. Can't be more clearer than that. But I found something very interesting out about Pochettino. His away record against the top 6 was abysmal for Spurs. 3 wins out of 27 away games against the top 6. Abysmal, right? But people can say, well, that was against Spurs. You know, you can't have a go at him for Spurs. Oh, yeah, but we can say what a great manager he was for Spurs. But yeah, 3 away wins against the top 6. And his record against the top 6 home and away is abysmal as well. But, lovely crossing by Portugal. Riddle me this. Away games in the Champions League this season with Messi and Mbappe and Neymar, Didn't win any away games in the Champions League group stage. Didn't win away to Real Madrid. So didn't win an away game in the Champions League this year. Well, that's the Champions League, Mark. It's really competitive. Riddle me this. Against the top 10 French sides this year, I didn't even know they had 10 French sides, he's only won one away game against the top 10 French sides, including European giants like Strasbourg, Marseille, Lens. You know, it's unbelievable. Unbelievable. There is a real theme with Pochettino and not being very good away from home, regardless of how good his team is. This is what needs to be spoken about, because it's facts. None of this Premier League proven crap. Actually analyse the guy as a manager. He's shite away from home. And United are going to win a title with this man. Whatever. He must have travel sickness, says Beat Him Down. Yeah, but you know what? It's just an opinion, isn't it? But it's not an opinion, that's facts. Hi Mark, hope you're doing well. Really enjoyed your last United Stand show. I really hope Man United choose Ten Hag and go that different direction, says Vignesh. Thanks for the super chat, Vignesh, there. Theo says, Pochettino is literally the worst manager we've ever had at PSG. I was looking at PSG's away record last season, and even though they didn't win the league, it was relatively good. This season, with an amazing, talented side, he's won one away game against the top 10. Fucking hell. It's terrible. Let me list them off. Marseille, Rennes, Nice, Strasbourg, Lille, Monaco, Lens, Nantes and Lyon. And he's only won against Lille. Fucking against the top 10 in France with that side. There's no excuses. No excuses. Italy are losing to Turkey. I'm surprised they can even play against Turkey. I wouldn't even want to play if I was Italy. I'd be too sad about last week. Still 0-0 Portugal and North Macedonia. Who do you want to qualify between Senegal and Egypt? Oh, you know what? I don't want to upset people. I don't massively mind. You know, I would be very neutral in that game. I don't really mind. I want Portugal to win. I do want Portugal to win. And I think Ivory Coast might give England a game today. Oh, God, is that Eric Bailly down injured? I just saw an Ivory Coast player down injured and I thought, please don't be Eric Bailly. No, it's not Eric Bailly. I think it's Pepe. A lot of people do want Macedonia to win, not going to lie. I'll do a poll on it. Who do you want to win? It's always good to know how the chat's going. Who do you want to win? Portugal, North Macedonia, How can it be racist? Says King Ronaldo. How can it be racist? The player playing off the left wing has gone down injured and I thought it was Pepe. Grow up, you silly twat. They want Macedonia to win because they despise Ronaldo, says Dave. Mark, there is a lot of United rival fans. Sorry, Mark, there are not United fans who want United to appoint Poch. That says it all, says Jack. Of course it does. Of course it does. England have started off quite well against Ivory Coast. Battle of the centre-backs. Eric Bailly against Harry Maguire. I hope there's a corner. Imagine it if Eric Bailly just goes, your favourite, nuts him. That would be horrible. We don't want to see anything like that. We don't want to see any Will Smith moments. Hi Mark, unfortunately want you to get Poch. As a Liverpool fan, seeing your outburst under Poch could be the best thing ever, says Vicious. Look, I've stayed very tight-lipped about how I will react to Pochettino getting the United job because, to be honest with you, a lot of people think I'm going to lose my shit. I'm not going to make any comment. I know how I'm going to react if we get Pochettino, but it's not happened yet, so I live in hope. Would you be willing to do a football manager 3-year career with United? Thanks for the content and knowledge, to Tyler Wilson. I don't know. I'd have to think about that. Hi Mark, what's the news about Rangnick wanting refs to go to clubs for training? Can't really get the point behind this. Ansherman, you'll notice I didn't speak about this at all on the United Stand this morning. It was big news last night that Ralph Rangnick has put it forward that referees should come and train with teams. And I thought, I'm not even going to mention that. I just was like, when I read it last night, I was like, and I couldn't give a toss about referees. The less I see of them, the better. It's like how parents used to treat kids in the 1800s. They should be seen and not heard. And I feel the same about referees. We shouldn't hear from them at all. We should know they're there, but not hear from them. Raheem Sterling is down injured here at the moment. I don't wish any injury on anybody. Portugal took me a bit of time to find, Kazim, but it is on Sky. I think it's on Sky Action. Sky Sports 1, 2 and 3 have got England, I think Scotland and Wales and some other teams on. But it is on. It wasn't on the red button either, but it's on Sky Action. So yeah, we've not really seen any action though, so it's a bit of a miss-sell at the moment. But hope Bay has a masterclass, says Mahad. Thanks everyone who's tuning in, by the way. These are bubbling up nicely. Raheem Sterling looks like he's okay. He's on recovery mode. Pochettino to United is almost done. I don't know where this is coming from, so I can't react to it because I've not heard anything about it. Sky Arena for the Ireland game, says Shane. I don't know why England's on Sky. I mean, I always thought all England I think all England internationals are on ITV, but maybe all their friendlies not. Hey Mark, thoughts on Norway winning 9-0? Says Incred. Well, tell me who they played. If they beat France 9-0, I'll sit up and listen. But if it was San Marino, Logan says if you're talking about the ref, he or she's had a good game. Says Logan. Okay. What's my opinion on Nick Pope, says Grant? I think he's a good keeper, man. Yeah. Please subscribe, by the way, bottom right hand corner. We're on the road to 636,000. We're back, of course, at the weekend with proper football, Premier League matches, and then next week we'll be doing the Champions League quarterfinals as well. Double watch-alongs. Nice ball into Ronaldo. Left foot. Ooh, how's your father? That was just wide. Just wide on his left foot. I'm surprised they didn't hit the target, actually. I mean, it wasn't an easy chance. It's the sort of chance that if you watch TUSFC, you'd expect Goldbridge to hit the target with that. But no, he's just pulled it wide. Close, but no cigar. About a metre wide. We still believe, we still believe, we still believe, Notice how we've got the little trophy above that side, but the handshake on that side, friendly qualifier. It also says friendly and qualifier above it. It's a physical game between England and Ivory Coast. Not talk about the ref, that should be, says Logan. And Mark, what are your thoughts about speculation that Neil Warnock might get the Man United job, says Damien. It's not April Fool's yet, mate. Ooh, I nearly said Northern Ireland. North Macedonia with the cross. And it's gone for a goal kick, has it? No, it's gone for a corner. He put the cross in. No, it was a shot and it deflected just wide. England have got a corner as well. Catch caught by the keeper. Let's see what North Macedonia can do. Oh, it was a great day for TUSFC Ultras Awoken. Magnificent game. Really, I'm still living off the Barcelona result yesterday, but we've taken that on. Mark, you see Van Hal talking about United, saying they're a commercial club and not a football club, says Liam G. I did. Ronaldo just missed a chance, says Moo. Yeah, we saw that. Will you live stream the World Cup draw this week, says Lay. I might do. Not if it's going to take 20 hours, though. I'm out on Friday lunchtime having a few drinks, so I'd have to set it up and just come back and do it. But yeah, I'm not going to do it if it's a free kick to North Macedonia here. It is, no, that's not the reason I'm not going to do it. Thoughts on Tyler Adams for CDM position? He's a very good player and would be cheap. He's very good protecting the back four and would suit us, says Mataza. Well, it depends on what United want to do there. 70% want Portugal to win. 31% want North Macedonia to win, which I think is fair enough. We'll end that poll there. Who do I think is going to win? Portugal. I think England, Ivory Coast is a bit difficult. Who do I think will win between Sweden and Poland? I think that's a really difficult game to call. Remember, Sweden and Poland are playing each other as well. I want Sweden to win. I mean, I love Lewandowski, and Lewandowski should play in the World Cup. But I think that Swedish team, because it's got Lindelof and Elanga in the squad, I've got to give some club loyalty. I also think that Sweden are a team that could do well in the tournament. Kulevski and, as I say, Isaac, and they've got some good players there. So I probably would shade towards Sweden, but I wouldn't have a massive problem if Poland win. Sean Dyche for United manager, says Marcus Bevis. We still believe, we still believe. Oh, Harry Maguire booed by a significant number of the Wembley crowd, says Miguel Delaney. So there obviously was some booing there. I don't agree with that. And I don't know why it's England. Why? Look, he's had a shite season for Manchester United. He's always been a decent player for England. So I don't get why Harry Maguire's getting booed by England fans, who most of them won't be. Good tackle by Bruno there. And United fans wouldn't boo Harry Maguire, and you shouldn't boo Harry Maguire. I don't really like players being booed, really. So I don't know why England fans would do that. He'll be cupping his ears soon, says do me a favour. England had a great chance there. Good save from Bellingham. And a good cross coming in afterwards. But yeah, Bellingham should have scored. Good save by the keeper. Onto the post as well. North Macedonia have had in the last 5 minutes, have actually had a bit of a go. And it's a lot more of... It's more of an equal game than I thought it was going to be between Portugal and North Macedonia, you know. They're growing in confidence. I think the first 10 minutes, they... here we go. They're coming down the right-hand side here. Will he keep that on? Yes, he will. Cross comes in. He's got some freedom. Bang! Just wide. Ghana through to the World Cup, says Srin Srivatsan. Who did they beat? Nigeria out. Nigeria out of the World Cup. Ghana through. People who say Ten Hag is a risk, I don't think it is, because he plays similar football to Pep. Well, the same, and look at Man City, 4 league titles, says Nathan Allen. I've got a tweet primed for full time that's going to bang. That's all I'm going to say. But it's got nothing to do with these friendlies, so I'll just say that. Nigeria out and Ghana go through, says Jaden Smith. I mean, look, I was looking at the African World Cup qualifying knockout games, and they are proper hard. Really bad. The time is not wrong. This is for the Portugal game, not the England game. I mean, like you know, Senegal against Egypt as well. Ghana go through on away goals. Should you have away goals? I don't know. I'm just putting it out there. Senegal are about to knock Egypt out as well. Or are they? No. They're not. It's... I think they're into extra time, aren't they? Because it's 1-1 on aggregate there. Ghana go through on the away goals rule. Harsh, that is. Very harsh. Other games, Tunisia, Mali, which is 1-0 to Tunisia at the moment on aggregate. Algeria, Cameroon, Algeria 1-0 up. And Morocco, Democratic Republic of Congo, 1-1 on aggregate. They're kicking off a little bit later. But I believe Senegal and Egypt are into extra time. So they could be going to penalties again, which is what decided the African Cup of Nations. Did Poch not beat United under Jose 2-0 and 3-0, says Stephen Bahari. What's this, the History Channel? He only won 3 out of 27 away from home for Spurs and has a shit record against the top 6. I saw Kent out with Young's Bird for drinks at my local on Paddy's Day. Get your dressing room in order, Mark, says Brian Moore. Yeah, going out of the World Cup on away goals, I'd get rid of that. I mean, look, I actually think I was a bit unsure about the away goals rule. What's your thoughts? Do you think the away goal being scrapped is a good idea? I think in the Champions League it's made it better. Hi Mark, it's me, Daniel from California again. I want to say I hope you and the family are doing well and can't wait for the shock result. Much love from a gunner, says Dan. Thanks Dan, hope you and your family are doing as well. I take it you want North Macedonia to win. Still 0-0 in both games at the moment. Portugal 0, North Macedonia 0. They've been decent in the last 5 minutes, North Macedonia. They've been having a go, and Portugal, apart from that Ronaldo chance, haven't done too much. But there is a chance here. It's gone for a corner. England 0, Ivory Coast 0. England have done the better pressing at the moment. Bruno's getting a bit of crap in the chat. Thanks everyone who's tuning in. Make sure you smash a like and get involved. Away goals should be scrapped, says Joash. I don't think you should have away goals in World Cup qualifiers. I think it's disgusting. One of the African teams could actually do well at Qatar World Cup because of the climate probably suit them, says Chaos Jokers. Who do you think is the best African team in the World Cup at the moment? Because obviously Senegal won the African Cup of Nations. They may not make it. But out of the teams that have qualified, who do you think the best are? Because Ivory Coast are not in the World Cup. Football Manager was a fun watch with Notts County. I agree with the guy that you should do it with United B idea since you're ending FIFA soon with United Stand, says Nathan Allen. Well, I'll certainly consider it. Another shot for Jack Grealish here, straight at the keeper. England actually performing better at the moment than I thought they would do. A lot of people saying that Senegal would be the best team. Senegal and Algeria, says Rids. Is there a South Macedonia? I was thinking that today. I don't know. Sue says it's Ivory Coast, but they've not even qualified. We're asking who is the best African side in the World Cup. Sweden's all over Poland, says Thomas. Greece is South Macedonia, says Pradeep. Is Ronaldo into the box? He ain't going to get a penalty for that. Wayne Rooney wants the United job later on, says SS11. Rio says, how aren't Ivory Coast in the World Cup? Because it's ridiculously difficult to qualify from the African nations. I think that the European qualifications are pretty piece of piss, really. There's a lot of shit, isn't there? I mean, look, Italy have messed up and Portugal are in a qualifier. There's always going to be a few shocks, but in the main, you pretty much can predict who's going to qualify. But with the African nations, it's just ridiculously competitive. I don't think South Africa qualified either. I can't remember. Does anyone know who's qualified from the African nations already? Good play here. Oh, it's another corner. Corner to Portugal. Nigeria aren't there. Ivory Coast aren't there. South Africa aren't there. Jay says, imagine Scotland or Wales going and Ivory Coast who are better. I suppose that's the thing, isn't it? Gaz says he can't stand Gary Neville. Why? What's he done? Only Ghana have qualified so far, says Jason. Oh, they all go through a qualifier, do they? I thought somebody had qualified already. I thought somebody from Africa had qualified already. I didn't realise that it was only 4 teams that qualify. Intelligent sprinters would be very good wingers, says SS11. It's only Ghana who's qualified, says Yar. South American qualifiers are tough. Well, I just had something come into my head, and just bear with me on this one. I don't know what you think. Do you think it's time to scrap regional qualifiers for the World Cup? Because surely you want the best 32 teams in the World Cup. Or is it important that you've got representation from everywhere? Which is what the regional qualifiers are about. You're always going to get South American teams, North American teams, African teams. But I don't know. Would it not be better to have the 32 best teams in the world? And what I mean by that is, could you not just put all the teams into one pot and then put them all, so England could be in a group with Brazil for a qualifier? Martin says no, because then qualifiers would just be a World Cup light. But I find, maybe it's different if you're from different areas of the world, but I would actually quite like if every team that can qualify for the World Cup was put into a big pot, and Group A could have England, Brazil, United States in it. Obviously it would need to be seeded, but it's not seeded, it's wide open. I wouldn't mind that, because if you look at South American players that play in the Premier League, they have to do a lot of travelling in international football. Imagine if Brazil were playing England in a World Cup qualifier. It's not as much travelling, is it? Apart from the players who don't play who play in Brazil. And I think it would make qualifying more interesting, because I find qualifying really boring. So I think it would be more interesting. Which South American team would you root for, says Tiger? I mean, look, I think everybody's got a soft spot for Brazil. One team I've always liked, and I think they're North America, aren't they? I like Mexico. I've always liked Mexico. They play good football. Mark, I'm from Canada, and we just qualified and topped the group against Mexico and USA. Looking forward to Qatar now, also as a United fan. Yeah, well done. I think Canada, United States and Mexico is a really competitive 3 teams now, isn't it? Hi Mark, I want Ten Hag as well, but I'm worried that he wants the job, so doesn't that mean the board would be in control, says Brian. Yeah, well, my fear has always been that they'll go with Pochettino, but we'll see. Running down the wing in the night I'd sing. That was that chance for Ronaldo just wide. Viva Ronaldo! Viva Ronaldo! Running down the wing in United sing. Viva Ronaldo! I'll cry if he goes out of the World Cup, I really will cry. I won't be happy. That does nothing for FIFA's pockets. World Cup 2026 will have 48 countries to get more games. It's all about the dollar, says Henry. You know what my big problem is? I just can't stand international breaks. I like the Euros, I like the World Cup, but I can't stand international breaks. And I've spoken to a lot of people about this, and if you live in South America, they like the international breaks because they have really competitive games. And I suppose it's probably the same in Africa, and it might be the same in other places, but I find England international breaks boring. We're always in a group with a bunch of shit, and it's boring. I think it would be a lot better for international football if every game you played was competitive. And what I mean by competitive is not playing a bunch of bricklayers or teachers or milkmen from some country in Europe that's smaller than Stoke. I'm not being arrogant and disrespectful. It's called an opinion, and I firmly believe it. So it's not arrogance and it's not disrespectful, because it's not coming from a place of disrespect. It's not coming from a place of arrogance. It's coming from a place of fact. I find it boring. I can't help it. Some people absolutely love things like Marvel. I've got no interest in watching it. Was Beckham your idol? He was for a little bit, SS11. Nice layoff to Ronaldo. He needs a return pass here. Oh, referee, that was a foul. Now North Macedonia come away. Mark, do you reckon Canada can get out the group stage, says Alexi? I think in the World Cup, and we saw it in the Euros. I mean, look at North Macedonia here against Portugal. Here he goes. Ronaldo, through the middle, slips it into Jota. Goal! It's not Jota, it's Bruno! Bruno! Ronaldo to Bruno! It's 1-0 to Portugal! We're on our way to the World Cup! Sit down, haters! United in the house! Boom shakalak! It's Bruno Fernandes! It's 1-0 to Portugal! With the assist from Su! It's 1-0! That's the goal! Ronaldo knows it's the goal! And that puts Portugal 1-0 up! Come on! Ronaldo assist. I thought it was Jota. Get in. That's a big goal now. That's a big goal there. There. Right there. That's a big goal, that is. Oh, yes it is. It's big. It's big. It's good. Breathing space now. I say I was getting a little bit concerned. This is what you need to do against North Macedonia. It's what Italy couldn't do. And to be fair, you know what, Portugal. I'm going to give North Macedonia enough respect because Portugal have been hitting them on the break. North Macedonia have been having a go. They haven't parked the bus. They've been having a go, and Portugal's chances have come on the break. You could forgive Portugal getting frustrated if they were playing against the park the bus merchants, but these North Macedonian lads, who did very well in the Euros as well, we'll come back to Canada in a minute, they've played quite a high line. They're doing it now. They're having a go, North Macedonia, and fair play to them. And Portugal are actually benefit from hitting on the break. Could you do your new Premier League table predictions since you had United third and we all know that won't happen and had Liverpool fourth, says Nathan Allen? Well, I'm not going to change it, Nathan. I went with what I've got. I still predict that Man City will win the league, yeah. Can't wait for that game. We're doing a watch-along for it a week on Sunday. Liverpool against Man City, probably for the title. Do I think that Canada will do well in the World Cup? I was just about to say that before Bruno scored. If you look back at the Euros, goal England, Watkins, goal England, Watkins. It has been coming, and England go 1-0 up. They have played really well, England, actually. I thought Ivory Coast would cause them more problems defensively, but they haven't at all. And it's Raheem Sterling with the assist. And it's Watkins who ends up with a tap-in. He's doing a little celebration. Don't know what it is. But nice little play here. Bellingham's looked really good. Grealish slips in Sterling. It's a defensive error, actually. Sterling gets it back. Past his man. Cross through the legs. Lovely finish. It's lovely play by Sterling, that is. Give the lad a bit of credit. He skips past the Aurier and then he crosses it through the legs of, I think it was Eric Bailly, and it's a tap-in. Tap-in for Watkins. 1-0 to England. So 2 goals in quick succession there. But yeah, what I was saying about Canada, if you look at the Euros, North Macedonia and who was it? I nearly said Yeovil. It wasn't Yeovil. Who was that team in the Euros who always had a packed out stadium? And people will say that's weird, but remember COVID was going. The goalkeeper plays for Leipzig. What's the nation? It's not Yeovil. It wasn't Latvia either. Who was it? It wasn't Ukraine. Hungary. That was it. Not Yeovil. Hungary and North Macedonia in the Euros, they gave a really good account of themselves. And I think in international football it can be a bit of a leveller. So Canada, I don't think will get embarrassed. I don't think you're going to see a team like Canada get slapped up 4 or 5-0 in every game. I think they will be competitive, definitely. Yeah, it was Hungary, thanks. Make sure you subscribe, by the way. Bottom right-hand corner, you're all welcome on That's Football, of course. We're back with the Premier League and Champions League watch-alongs next week. That's a lovely cross by Portugal. Comes to Bernardo Silva on the edge of the box. Moutinho into Ronaldo. Little dinky cross. Headed away. Edge of the box. North Macedonia on the break. They're having a go. Will you shout out my spouse, Dixie? I'm not reading the second bit, Jonathan, because I'm not stupid. On that note, when United don't get top 4 and Ronaldo leaves, where do you think he will go? I think MLS or PSG, says Nathan Allen. You know what, Nathan? You're probably trying to wind me up because I think you're a Liverpool fan. But in all honesty, yellow card here for Seri. Oh no, it's not. It's a yellow card for an England player, Ben White. No, it is It is a yellow card for Ivory Coast player Seri for a foul on Raheem Sterling. Ronaldo might leave Portugal. Ronaldo. I'm leaving Portugal. I'm going to sign for France. Imagine if you could do that. Who thinks there should be transfers in the international scene? I'm joking. Like that'd be a good April Fool's. I've given you a great April Fool's there. UEFA plan to introduce a transfer system into international football by the year 2028. I forgot my point, my place now. No, Ronaldo could leave Portugal. Ronaldo could leave Manchester United if we're not in the top four, if we're not in the Champions League. I've always said that. Wondering what your thoughts are on the impact of Jordan Henderson in this current England squad and where he fits into it, says Jack. I mean, well, we saw it in the Euros, didn't we? We saw it in the Euros that Jordan Henderson didn't really play. Calvin Phillips covered the most distance out of anybody in the England squad in the Euros, and Declan Rice has to start. So it's a difficult one. I mean, for me, I think England's midfield too should be a CDM and a more creative midfielder. So Bellingham and Rice would be my choice, but Southgate with his back five and his two CDMs, there's probably not a starting place for Jordan Henderson, but I think his leadership skills are fantastic. I prefer Henderson and Rice to Phillips and Rice, to be honest with you. Don't know what anyone else thinks. But I think I said it on was it Saturday or Friday? That no, it's Thursday, wasn't it? That Jude Bellingham to me is one of the I'd build a team around him. I think he's fantastic. But did you not hear those comments from Gareth Southgate that it would benefit Jude Bellingham to come and play in the Premier League? I mean, he's so Premier League obsessed. I bet he wants Poch as well. Like, he's obsessed with the Premier League. Like, he wouldn't pick Sancho, he doesn't pick Tomori. It's like, if you don't play in the Premier League, Southgate's like, you must be shit. Hi Mark, good debate today about Poch and Ten Hag. I'm putting my Poch posters up right now, says Arjun. Thanks Arjun, you're a legend. Thank you very much for your interaction this afternoon. The guy who killed says Bellingham and Rice is a fantastic midfield. And Mark, reports say Southgate is permanently switching systems to a back four after constantly seeing results after switching it up during games. Says JK. Well, I hope he is. But I think the problem that Southgate's got with the back four is the same problem that United have got with the back four. Harry Maguire is better in a back five. Watkins scored for England, Flash. Rice, baby. Boom. Can anyone remember that on Twitter Spaces when that guy blew up over the case of about 3 days? What was it called? Where people used to come on and sing, and it was really popular for about 3 or 4 days, and everyone was like, "This is going to be massive," and there was loads of sponsors interested. And then he did it on the Sunday, and no one really watched, and then it just disappeared. It's like a one-hit wonder. Chesney Hawks. Hi Mark, who would you prefer manager for England instead of Southgate? Says Eddie. Oh, there's loads. Goal! Oh, side netting from Jota. A cute angle, but Kent would have scored. Maguire and Mings is the worst possible centre-back pairing, says Joe. They've not really been tested tonight though, Joe. They haven't. Sing your dialect, that was it. Sing your dialect. Just disappeared, didn't it? Disappeared. That's what made me think about Rice Baby, because it was Declan Rice was on there singing Ice Baby. I was on the list to do it one night, and then the stream went down. What could have been? I could have been the saviour. Anyway, we're nearly at our 5 minutes to half time. What if Southgate becomes the United manager, says Tiger Claws? God, I wouldn't be surprised if United appointed him, but God no. Who would I replace Southgate with? Well, I don't know whether he's a bit old now, but I always thought Arsene Wenger would be interesting. I think Potter would be good. I mean, basically, any English manager who manages in the Premier League is going to be better than Southgate. Dean Smith's better than Southgate. So, like, I don't rate Southgate. And the reason I don't rate him is I don't think there's a club in the Premier League that would give him a job. I think he hides behind good players in international football. If he had to manage week in, week out with a team like Norwich, he'd be absolutely exposed, in my opinion. Nathan Allen says, if Leicester sack Rodgers, do you think England should appoint him because he plays good football and with a team like Liverpool could win things, says Nathan Allen. I mean, Brendan Rodgers would be a good England coach. If you look at what he did at Liverpool, he couldn't quite win anything, but at Leicester he's won an FA Cup. At Celtic he was very good. I would say the skills that he had at Celtic would probably be most suitable for what he would do with England, because the Celtic thing, a lot of people assume you're just going to win things, but actually there's a high pressure. Maybe you don't play that many games that are really massively competitive, and maybe that's the same as international football as well. So I don't know whether Leicester will sack Brendan Rodgers. They're an ambitious club and they just seem to have fallen off a bit this season, to be fair. If Leicester did sack Brendan Rodgers, I'll tell you what, I think Graham Potter would be a good fit for them. I like the way Leicester's run. I think they do give you an opportunity to be successful, but I think you do burn out at some point because it's a hard job. North Macedonia on the attack here. Good tackle by Pepe and another free kick. A lot of free kicks in this game. Bellingham's just had another shot. I think it's a penalty, isn't it? It's given a penalty? Red card? Red card in a friendly? Oh, for God's sake. That is a joke. Even the England players don't want it. Have a word with yourself, ref. I think he's sent him off for a straight red, hasn't he? He sent Serge Aurier off for... But it's a bloody friendly. Even Southgate and England won't want this to happen because they'll be like, we want to play a proper game of football, and now you've got a whole half against 10 men. Ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. And it's a penalty as well. Second yellow mark. Yeah, but just don't do it. This is a competitive preparation for a World Cup. It's just stupid. Really stupid. I don't care if it's a second yellow. I don't care if he's following the letter of the law. He's a bloody Jobsworth. It's a friendly, for God's sake. It's better for England if we're playing against 11 men. I actually haven't seen the handball, so I can't. Maybe he's done something deliberate, but why is it a goal kick as well? I am watching the Portugal game more, to be honest. Here we go. Fraser Peak. A foul's a foul. It's not the ref's fault. Jobsworth. Mark, imagine. I want to live in a world with creativity, not a world where the rules are black and white. Mark, imagine Bruno moaning to Anthony Taylor in training about every foul, says Ori. Well, that's ruined the England game. It wasn't a penalty, no. Out of all the England managers, who do you think that played the more attractive and attacking football? Because in my life, I don't think any have, says Nathan Allen. Bobby Robson's football was decent at times. Venable's football was decent and attacking wise. If you think about Euro 96, we played some great stuff there. Euro 96 was probably the best football we've ever played, really. It was really, really good. And at times, Hoddle's football was okay. And then, basically, after 98, it has been pure shit. Yeah. Sven was conservative. McLaren was conservative. Capello was part of the bus. Hodgson was conservative. Southgate's conservative. Yeah. So basically since 1998, so 24 years, it's been pretty crappy football from England. 1-0 to Germany, by the way. At half-time in the Portugal game, I'll stop the clock there, but the England game is still going on. They've still got a couple of minutes to go there. Ridiculous. Red cards in friendlies. Bloody hell. Oh, Sam Allardyce was in charge. I mean, I forget that Sam Allardyce was in charge of England. I mean, that to me was just crazy. I mean, is that not crazy to you? I could not believe Sam Allardyce had been appointed England manager in the first place. I couldn't believe it. Apparently it might be 1-0 to Senegal, says Paddy. I don't know whether that's true. If so, I will double check. But he's right. No, it's 1-0. No, it's 1-0. They're going to penalties there. Although Senegal have had 24 shots to Egypt's 5. 58% possession. They'll kick themselves if they don't make the World Cup. It's been 1-0 to Senegal for 2 hours, yeah. Yeah, it's not a goal that makes it any different. Good shot. Grealish cuts it back. 2-0 to England. Raheem Sterling. It's 2-0 England. And you wonder how many goals they're going to get now. I mean, to be fair, they've been a lot better. A lot better than Ivory Coast today. Grealish with the assist. The Man City connection. And it's 2-0 to England. It's 1-0 to Germany against Netherlands, by the way. And it's 2-0 to England here. Lovely ball by Grealish. Lovely finish. The Man City connection there. That was tidy, to be fair. Nice little cut back by Grealish. Little tap in for Raheem. 2-0 to England. What should we have a chat about at half-time? Sweden are 0-0 at the moment, says Shadow. Mark, why do you think Maguire is playing so much better in this game than he has all season, says Tommy. I don't think Ivory Coast have attacked. I've not seen Ivory Coast attack once, mate. That's probably why. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. I really don't think I've seen Ivory Coast attack. So it's hard to. It's hard for me to sort of say that he's played well when ultimately I think it's been a very dominant performance. 47% possession for England, 9 shots, 4 on target, 1 shot from Ivory Coast, and not 0 target. So I mean, look, Mings and Maguire as a centre-back pairing. Imagine playing Mings and Maguire against Man City and Liverpool. They'd be 4-0 up in 10 minutes. I just think Ivory Coast haven't done much. There's a VAR check here for the England goal. And it's been given. 2-0. Yeah. England should build their team around Sancho, Bellingham, Rice, Foden and get a more attacking coach if they want to win the World Cup, says Stephen. Yeah, they should do, but it's going to be too late. My fear has always been that England are potentially going to miss out on winning something because they don't have the right coach. I think we've got some fantastic attacking talent, but I don't think we've got the right coach, and that does concern me a little bit. But you know, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? Viva Ronaldo. So it's half-time in the England game as well. 0-0. Get your questions in. Make sure you subscribe. Bottom right-hand corner. We're on the road to 636,000. Thank you for everyone for tuning in. Best 11 outside the top 6. I think we've done that before, Oliver. Could do a World 11. World Cup 11. I tell you what, let's do a World Cup 11. I like that. A World 11. What is the World 11? We're going to do that. Join in the half-time chat. Well, I suppose one of the big things is who plays either side of Ronaldo. Mark, I've been depressed for over 6 weeks now. Feel like I'm stuck in my life. What the fuck am I supposed to do? I love my job and I hate my colleagues. Oh, Nelly, well, you're halfway there. Maybe ask if you can work from home. It's not a bad solution. Unless you're a swimming pool attendant, in which case it's going to be very difficult. But no, I mean, the best thing you can do, Nelly, is look at solutions. If you love your job and you hate your colleagues, we need to know what you do for a living, really. But will you be getting up at 6 for the Australian GP? Yes, I will, Stuart Bates. Yes, I will. Yeah. Rupin says we should do one player per country, but that would be a bloody nightmare. I can't do that on a live chat. It'd be a nightmare. Okay, so let's start off. We're doing a World 11 here at half time, and we need to crack on a little bit because we've already had 5 minutes of the Portugal half time. So a World 11. Who would you put in goal as the best goalkeeper in the world? XD says Karius would be an interesting one. Best goalkeeper in the world. I don't think it's Manuel Neuer anymore. I would have said Oblak maybe a year ago, but I don't think it is him anymore. Do we now look to the Premier League for the best goalkeeper in the world? Hi Mark, it's Daniel again. What's your opinion on fans supporting two teams? I'm a die-hard Arsenal fan, but I'm also Mexican, therefore I have a soft spot for Wolves and support United for Chicharito, says Dan. Yeah, I mean, some people do it, but I think it depends on who you go for, really, because I don't think you can support United and Arsenal. I think the rivalry's too big. I think you can support Arsenal and have a soft spot for Wolves, that's fine, but I don't think you can support United. Lots of people are going with Mendy as the goalkeeper. Some people are saying Courtois. I think he's been fantastic at the moment. I would say the best goalkeeper in the world at the moment is Courtois. Donnarumma's fell off a bit. I mean, look, Donnarumma's fell off a bit. Alisson and Ederson, I'd say I would go with Alisson over Ederson because I think Ederson spends most of his game stood there counting his fingers. I mean, he just doesn't seem to get tested much. Mendy's very good as well. So I would say it's between Courtois and Mendy. I would go with Courtois at Real Madrid, but you might go with something different. Right back, I heard somebody say today as well. I can't remember who it was. Or maybe it was yesterday. And they were basically saying that Luke Shaw was hands down the best left back at the Euros. And I was like, Spinazzola says hold my beer. I know he got a bad injury, but Spinazzola was bloody brilliant in the Euros. And I thought Luke Shaw was brilliant as well, but I would have put Spinazzola ahead of Luke Shaw in the Euros. Right back, well, Cancelo, does he play at right back? I think he plays at left back for City. I personally think that maybe Cancelo, you could put him at left back and go with Trent at right back. I think it's got to be Trent at right back. I'm going to go with Trent. And you know, maybe you throw Cancelo into the left back argument, but I would go with Trent at right back. So Courtois, Trent. Let's do the left back because we're talking about the left back. Can anybody? This is a World 11 we're doing here. I'm enjoying it. Make sure you smash a like and subscribe. Bottom right hand corner. We're on the road to 636k. Everyone's welcome on That's Football. Champions League double watch-alongs next Tuesday, Wednesday. Arsenal against Crystal Palace next Monday night. Sunday, I think we're doing Spurs, Newcastle. And on Saturday, it's Man United versus Leicester on the United stand. But I think we might be doing the 3 o'clock kickoffs on here because there's a few games. Left back, I would say Cancelo. Theo Hernandez is a good shout. Alphonso Davies. I know he's a good player, but I do think Cancelo at left back. Andy Robertson's fantastic. I do like Andy Robertson, but I think I would put Cancelo at left back. Personally, I would. Thoughts on the Netherlands team with Van Gaal. Cheers from Santa Rosa, California, says Nico. Hopefully they're going to be competitive. I think there's some good teams in the World Cup, and I'm looking forward to the World Cup. Yeah, I'd go with Cancelo. Centre-backs. Who would you go as your centre-back pairings? Now, there are 3 of the best centre-backs in the world in the Premier League, with Rafael Varane, Virgil van Dijk, and Ruben Diaz, and Rudiger. For me, they are 4 of the best centre-backs in the world. Beyond the Premier League, Marquinhos is very, very good. I think a lot of people I used to talk about, like the Koulibalys, the Chiellinis, the Godins, the Ramos, I think they fell off a bit. Although Napoli are doing very well this season, so maybe Koulibaly could still be in that equation. But look, I know he's playing in a bad United side, and I'm going to be biased here, but I would definitely put Varane in, because I've seen firsthand what difference he makes to a shit United side. Like, when he doesn't play, we can get slapped up 4-5. When he does play, it's never happened, and he makes a massive difference. So I think if he was playing in a decent side, if Varane was playing for Liverpool or Man City, he'd be one of your best players. So I would have Varane there. It's just unfortunate that he's joined a shit United side. And I'm a bit biased, but I do think Thiago Silva's great as well. So I would go with Varane. Bit of bias there, but I do see what he is. And I'd probably have put him there if he was still at Real Madrid. I'd go Varane and Van Dijk. Yeah. I still think Van Dijk has the edge over Rudiger and Ruben Diaz. So I would go Varane and Van Dijk. But to be honest with you, you could easily go Rudiger and Diaz. That would be a bloody brilliant centre-back pairing as well. I think it's wafer thin between all 4, really. You could even go with Marquinhos as well. Yeah, Alaba's not bad. Yeah, I would go with Varane and Van Dijk. So that's my back 4. Courtois, Trent, Cancelo as my fullbacks, Van Dijk and Varane. I'm going to play a holding midfielder, a box-to-box, and an attacking midfielder. Who would you want as your holding midfielder? I mean, for me, I really like Rodri. I really like Fabinho. You could probably put Kante there if you wanted to. I'm a big fan of Verratti as well. I really do like Verratti, but there's only one, and it's Kimmich for me. Huge fan of him. It would have to be Kimmich. Declan Rice. I like Declan Rice, but I've got to be honest, when I'm talking about Verratti and Kimmich and Fabinho and Rodri, I'm not thinking about Declan Rice, to be honest with you. So I would go with Kimmich, although I am a massive fan of the other people that I've said there. Box-to-box midfielder. Gundogan comes to head straight away. I think he's a bit underrated. I think he's fantastic, Gundogan. I'm thinking Premier League here, box to box. I mean, I know he's getting on, but I still think Modric is fantastic. Yeah, I do still think that Modric is fantastic. Box to box is difficult, isn't it? Bernardo Silva, yeah, he's good. Is he physically enough that I wanted a box? I mean, Jude Bellingham would be the one for me, but I just don't think he's quite there yet. McGinn. Kante, yeah, Kante. You probably just took it away from me there. I probably would go with Kante. I don't think I could miss out on that, to be honest with you. So I'll go Kante. Kimmich and Kante, that would be pretty decent. And then my attacking midfielder would be still be Kevin De Bruyne. I still think he is the best. I love Bruno, but he ain't the same as De Bruyne. So I would go Kimmich, De Bruyne and Kante. Portugal players are coming out here for the second half. Michael Oliver, the 4th official. And that leaves your front 3. Who would you have as your front 3? And this is where it gets interesting, because you've got your Neymars, you've got your Mbappes, you've got your Salahs, you've got your Manes, you've got your Messis if you want, you've got your Ronaldos if you want, you've got your Lewandowskis. Vinicius Junior has been fantastic for Real Madrid this year as well. You've got your Benzema's. I mean, take your pick on your front three. I just don't know. Salah, Mbappe, Benzema. Not bad, is it? Ronaldo, Lewandowski, Messi, says captain. Haaland as well. Yeah. I think as a front three, I would go Neymar, Lewandowski, Salah. So my 11, Koulibaly just missed a penalty as you were talking about him. Also Salah blazed it over, says Reese. Yeah, let us know what's happening in that. So my 11, my world 11 would be Courtois, Trent, Van Dijk, Varane, Cancelo, Kimmich, Kante, De Bruyne, Neymar, Lewandowski, Salah. Good luck against that. I think it'd be a bloody brilliant team. Balanced as well. But there's probably better. There's probably better. I do like Neymar. I'd have to give him a kick up the arse and tell him to pass a bit more. But I do rate Neymar. We're just about to start the clock here. We're good. Hey Mark, Daniel yet again, and want to know what your thoughts on Chicharito. Surely a Man United legend. He's not a legend, Dan. I don't hand out club legendary status easy. I suppose Liverpool fans, would you say that every player that's played in your team in a winning Premier League team is a legend? I don't think that Ronnie Johnson's a legend, and he played in the treble winning side. I think legend status should belong to a select few. Chicharito wouldn't be a legend for me, but he was well loved by the club, and fantastic super sub as well. Koulibaly just missed a penalty, says Reese. Yeah, we're just waiting to hear who's going through between Senegal and Egypt. Live penalty shootout at the moment, and Salah's missed. Bloody hell. So I'm just looking at the first few here, and Sarr scored for Senegal. Sis and Koulibaly missed, but Said and Salah have missed as well. So I'll probably get quicker updates here. 4 missed penalties, says Rodney. So at the moment, Portugal are heading to the World Cup, but I wouldn't discount North Macedonia. They've had a good game. Rafa, I think you could have 2 World 11s. Like, if you think about it, I'll talk to you in a moment about this. But if my World 11 is Courtois, Trent, Van Dijk, Varane, Cancelo, Kimmich, Kante, De Bruyne, Neymar, Lewandowski, Salah. Imagine if you could play that team against Mendy, Hakimi, Diaz, Rudiger, Andy Robertson, Fabinho, Gundogan. Who would your attacking midfielder be? I mean, I don't know. You could, I don't know. Who would you? There's a few you could have there, and then you could have Mane, Benzema, and Mbappe. So, it would be a great side. It'd be a great game to watch, wouldn't it? I'd love to see it, but they'd have to do it not as an exhibition, really. You could put Modric there. Yeah. Arsenal fan wants Odegaard. The funny thing is, neither of those teams have got Ronaldo or Messi in it. Look, they're always going to drop off a little bit. I don't think they're finished, but they're always going to drop off a little bit. And they might have a little bit left in the tank. All-star game. Yeah. We should do that. I mean, there's not a lot of things I would agree from the NFL or American sports, but I would like to see an all-star game. I think that would be great. An all-star game would be fantastic. England about to make a substitution here. Voice of Paul Ince I've got on my screen. You'll have the voice of Paul Ince on my screen tomorrow. He's on the United stand tomorrow morning. Looks like Egypt might be heading out here. Senegal are through, says Safran. Yeah, well, I think a lot of people feel that Senegal are better than Egypt anyway, so they're probably not a surprise, but it's gone on penalties again. Psychologically, it's not one that Liverpool fans can win, really, is it? You know, you've got Salah, one of your better players. He's psychologically has lost the African nations on penalties, and now he's lost the opportunity to go to the World Cup on penalties. And then you've got, I think it was the last World Cup, wasn't it, that Egypt went to the World Cup and Salah wasn't really fit either. Lasers in Egypt players' eyes. Oh, you don't want that controversy. You don't want that controversy, do you, TK? So, Senegal joined Ghana in the World Cup. Well, if they've used lasers, it's bang out of order. That shouldn't be allowed. But I don't know whether that's true or not. Liverpool fan says, I'm actually happy. Owain says, as a Liverpool fan, I'm happy because Salah's agent would be chatting him up a lot if he'd got in the World Cup. Another penalty for England here. Very, very indisciplined game by Ivory Coast. I don't know whether he got the ball, actually. Bellingham went down. No, he gets the ball. That's not a penalty. Sid, thank you very much for the super chat. Definitely gets the ball. Knowing VAR, they'll probably give a pen. Team of the year of each league play each other during pre-season, says Abes. Mark, what do you make of Ireland and Britain holding the World Cup? And if someone says it's being held in England, I'll throw something at them, says Barry. Marky Mark, we need Ten Haggy now, says Richard. A referee's going to check this. I personally thought it was a penalty. It wasn't a penalty. I suppose he'll just go and have a look at it himself. He gets the ball. Not a penalty. Never a penalty, that. Yeah. He thinks he's Ronaldo. He's gone like, he's come off the screen, he's gone VAR. Sue! He got it wrong. It's not that, Sue. It's that, Sue. It's not a penalty anyway. There were lasers at the Senegal game. That's gonna cause a lot of issues. Apparently Poland have got a penalty, says United Forever. Penalty for Poland. What would Gary Barlow say? Well, I'll tell you what he would say, Mark. He said, that's absolutely incredible. Absolutely fantastic for Senegal. Commiserations for Egypt, but it's absolutely incredible for Senegal. I remember one night we'd take that. Somebody had a Senegal top on and that's all they had. That's all they had. Off topic, thoughts on Will Smith slapping C Rock, says David Page. I don't want to get all political on it, but I don't condone violence of any kind. And look, I'm not saying that I haven't done things, but I don't condone it. Anybody can make a mistake, but I every time I've watched it, I feel a bit sick. I just don't like that. I just don't. Somebody said to me, what would you do if it was your wife? And I said, look, nobody can know until they're in that situation, but why did he have to hit him? Why not get up on stage, walk up to him and tell him to apologise? Take the mic off him and say, look, I'm all for a bit of a joke, mate, but she's actually got a medical condition and you're taking the piss out of her. I think you should apologise. Like, make him look an idiot with words. He's not walked up to his wife and punched her, has he? He's humiliated her with words. Humiliate him back. So, I don't agree with violence, and I found it a bit repulsive, but I know some people think bang on, but I just don't like it. Poland have scored their penalty. It's 1-0 to Poland. Shock, shock, horror. Shock, shock, horror. It's 1-0 to Poland, and Sweden are heading out. We've lost Egypt tonight. We've lost Nigeria tonight. At the moment, we could be losing Sweden and North Macedonia as well. Stretch marks as Barry. Yes, great point. Stretch the back out. Oh, yeah. Got any TUS FC Ultras in the house? What a stream it's going to be tomorrow. We've got 1 foot in the Champions League final. That's all I'm going to say. Lewandowski scored the penalty, says Joe. Joe, how are you doing, Joe? Lewandowski, says Anakin. Dimitar says, no offence, mate, but that was such a snowflake opinion. Well, it's not a snowflake opinion, is it, mate? Because in the country the country I live in, you can't just walk up to somebody in the street and smack them round the face. It's not snowflake, it's violence. You'll get done for it, and rightly so. If you think that smacking someone in the face is okay, that's not snowflake. It's not snowflake to oppose that. I don't believe in physical violence. I don't think it's the way to solve an argument. If you do, well done. But it's not a snowflake, is it? So you're basically saying that if something happens that you don't agree with, you should be able to go and slap someone around the face. You've got no right to do that. Absolutely not. I'm not saying what Chris Rock said was nice, but I just don't agree with it. And if you don't like that, well done. Thanks for having an opinion, but it's not snowflake to say that you're opposed to people hitting people around the face. And I, as a father, I don't want my kids to think that's all right. I really don't. Imagine being a young actor at the Oscars last night and Will Smith doing that, making your first Oscars awkward, says Harvey. You know what it was? I don't think it was staged. And look, I've seen people punched in the face. I've seen all sorts of things on the streets of Birmingham when I used to work in the police and stuff. Like, I've seen people kicked in the head. I've had to watch on a Sunday morning when you go in as a detective and you're investigating a crime and stuff. You watch the CCTV back. I've seen people stabbed, murdered, run over, the lot. I've seen much worse than a slap round the face. But I just didn't like it. I didn't like his whole walking towards him, and then the way he just did, it just felt really aggressive and arsey. I just didn't like it. I really didn't like it at all. And I do think it was a bit cowardly as well, because I don't think Chris Rock saw it coming a mile off. I don't think he saw it at all. So I think it was a bit of a low hit as well, but he shouldn't be doing it in the first place. I don't think it was staged. I really don't. But look, there are people out there that think it's funny. There are people there that think it's okay. And if that's what you think, that's fine. I was asked what I think. I've given you my opinion. Let's move on. When do you think United will announce their manager, says Tristan? Oh, I don't know. Will Smith is basically Man United. This is Lay. Yeah, and for anyone who thinks it's fake, he wasn't fake when he was swearing. That was the bit. If we didn't have the swearing bit afterwards, then I think maybe. But Ronaldo's just headed one over the bar. I don't think this Portugal-North Macedonia game is done yet. And also, as somebody just said there, I mean, it's a great point. Who was it who said it? Really good point. I can't see it now. I'll try and find you. Yeah, V. Larson says, even if it was fake, what the hell does Will Smith have to gain from it? Exactly. It's just damaged his reputation. When you think about it logically, even I was thinking, could it have been fake? Well, I don't think it was, because he was swearing afterwards. But who gains from it if it's fake? Like this, there's no angle that in a couple of days it was a fake. If it was fake, they'd have come out and said it was fake within seconds. So it wasn't. It wasn't. Of course, it wasn't. Well, it's funny because I was watching Ricky Gervais. I don't know what it was, but it was the first. It was a 7-minute. I think it must have. He used to do the Golden Globes, didn't he, Ricky Gervais? And it was. I think it was his 5th one that he did, his last one. And the opening 7 minutes. Oh God, some of his jokes proper going in on people like Scorsese and that. And I was like, what are we gonna do? Get up and slap every comedian now? Like. I love Ricky Gervais. I think he's fantastic. I think his approach to everything is fantastic as well. Bruno gets fouled there, but he's all right. I do think Bruno Fernandes just needs to cut out the moaning. I find, even as a United fan, and he's one of my favourite players, I've found him this season really irritating. And I don't know whether he was doing it before, but this season, maybe because he's been shit, I've really noticed it. Half an hour to go. Portugal against North Macedonia. It's 1-0 to Portugal. England are winning 2-0 against Ivory Coast, who've been down to 10 men since just before half time. And Poland are beating Sweden 1-0 at the moment, which means Sweden would go. Hi Mark, quickly asking, were you a police officer? Says Annie. Yes, I was. About 10 years ago. Innovate says, do you think the success of Van Dijk released their pressured United into paying over the odds for Maguire? I've never really thought about it like that. I mean, all I can say is that when Man United bought Harry Maguire, I fell into the trap. I remember saying I think he's one of the top 10 centre backs in the world, and it's one of those things where people go and check your tweets from 2 or 3 years ago and go, look at this bad take. But it's not a bad take, because you're not in 2019 now. You're in 2022 where Harry Maguire's crap. When we bought him from Leicester, he'd had a good World Cup the year before and he'd had a good season for Leicester. He was a good centre-back who needed to take the step up. Pep Guardiola was looking at him. So, look, people just want to make people look like they've got bad opinions. But if I came out tonight and said Harry Maguire is one of the top 10 centre-backs in the world, you've got every right to ridicule me. But you haven't got the right to ridicule me for saying Harry Maguire was a top centre-back when we bought him, because I genuinely thought he was. I did. The price tag was never right. And I think Leicester did. I think Leicester used the Van Dijk price to say, look, Leicester paid 75 million to Southampton for Van Dijk. He'd never won anything. He was just he was ready to take the step up. So we want 80 million for Harry Maguire. We shouldn't have fallen into that trap. Tristan says, I feel North Macedonia might make a comeback. They're definitely in the game. And that's the thing with Portugal. They very rarely smack somebody up, Portugal, do they? They've not put this game to bed yet, let's just say that. And they did concede late against Turkey and missed a penalty, and had a penalty conceded as well. This is probably the crappiest opinion chat I've had of the year. Phil Barber says, Maguire is better than Varane. He just plays for a toxic club. Yeah. You know what that's like? That's like saying that Marcus Albrighton's better than Mo Salah. He just plays for Leicester. It's just not true, is it? Grealish is playing well, says Brian Brown. I think all of England's attack has played well. Wright Phillips, Sterling, Watkins, Grealish, Bellingham. They've all played well. And as I say, it's been a walk in the park for people like Tyrone Mings and Harry Maguire because they've just not had to do anything. They're playing against a team that's parking the bus. You can step out from the back and start playing simple little passes. You know, Harry Maguire's basically playing as a CDM next to Declan Rice at the moment. Oh, it's 2-0 to Portugal. I was watching the England game there. Fucking hell, idiot. I think is it Bruno again? Sorry about that. No, I think it's Bernard. Or I don't know what's going on here now. It's a good tackle by Pepe, not for the first time. Nice ball out to Jota. Into Bruno. Oh, lovely finish. Lovely finish by Bruno, that is. Well, he's delivered, hasn't he? Bruno Fernandes, 2 goals. Ronaldo is going to the World Cup. And I tell you what, there was a point where it was looking like it might not happen. Maybe not tonight. We'll buy Mings for 75 million based on this game, says Cantona92. Luke Shaw's coming on now. Well, it's funny because we were just talking about it felt like North Macedonia might get back into the game, but I think Portugal have managed it very, very well. They've game managed this. They've defended well. They've caught them on the break. And Smith Rowe's coming on as well. Harry Kane's coming on. Foden's coming on. Harry Kane just gets game time to score goals, doesn't he, to break that record. Oh, something's going on a little bit here between North Macedonia and Portugal. A little bit of push and shove. Let's have a look what's going on here. Nice goal by Bruno, says Vix. Mark, do you have a soft spot for another team in the Prem? Mine is Everton, says Connor T. I don't think I have a soft spot for anybody else. Cancelo's been booked. And a yellow card for the number 6 for North Macedonia. They're nearly having a kiss, Jota and that other North Macedonian there. Mark, do you think Van Dijk would be any good and as hyped up if he played against the likes of Shearer, Henry, Rooney or any other early noughties striker? I heard somebody saying that, Aidan. Somebody said that, didn't they? I don't know who said it, but somebody did say that recently, that I think it's a certain centre-back benefits from playing against players now. I don't know. I mean, I don't really like doing that because it flips the other way. You'll get a lot of people saying that, you know, this is the best Liverpool side, this is the best Premier League side, this Liverpool side or this Man City side is the best side in Premier League history. It was Michael Ballack. That's not true. But I don't think you can also say centre-backs have it easier now because they're not playing against the likes of R9 or Alan Shearer or Batistuta or whatever like that. There's still Lewandowski, there's still Benzema, there's still Cristiano Ronaldo, there's still Harry Kane. Still very good strikers. I don't think we do ourselves any favour when we compare the past with now because it's impossible. I mean, for me, footballers are so much fitter now, pitches are better, tactics are better. But then you look at someone like George Best, who played in the 60s, and you think, well, you could basically assault somebody and not get a yellow card in those days, and the pitches were shit, and the ball was heavy. So, you know, I think George Best in the modern game would be unbelievable. He'd have to have the fitness and conditioning that the modern players got, but you can't compare the past with the now. Morocco have a defensively solid manager who led Algeria and Japan to last 16. They are dark horses for me if they qualify. Who are the dark horses for you? Says Moya. I never get it right. I said Turkey. I remember the World Cup when Drogba was at Ivory Coast. What was the World Cup where there was the group of death and Ivory Coast were in it? And it might have been 98. It can't have been 98 for Drogba. What year was it? It wasn't. It might have been 2006 World Cup. There was a World Cup. Ivory Coast were in a really difficult group, and they had some good players, including Drogba. And I think it was the 2006 World Cup. It wasn't South Africa. And I said Ivory Coast are going to be the dark horse, and they weren't. They weren't. They were far from it. Let's just have a quick look, because I'll tell you what the group was. Viva Ronaldo, Viva Ronaldo, running down the wing, and on it sing. So, yeah, it was It was definitely 2006. So the group was Argentina, Netherlands, Ivory Coast, and Serbia. And Serbia weren't a bad team at that time either. Well, they were, because they got 0 points, and Ivory Coast only got 3 points, having beaten Serbia. But the Ivory Coast team at that time had Aboué, Keita, Zakora, Yaya Toure. No, that one, and that can't be the right team. I must be looking at it wrong. Oh, no. So, yeah, Drogba played against Argentina. Zakora, Kalou, Drogba, Toure, both Toures actually. Aboué. So, I mean, look, they had 5 players that we knew from the Premier League, and suddenly they're dark horses, I suppose. Mark, would you take Simeone at United? No, Joel. I know Paul Scholes and Roy Keane want Simeone, but me. It wasn't. It was 2006, definitely. Definitely 2006 was the one where I thought Ivory Coast was going. Don't tell me it's 2010. It was me. It was me who said it. I was just asked who the dark horse is going to be for 2022 World Cup, and I said I remember the 2006 World Cup when Ivory Coast were in it, in a tough group, and I thought they'd be the dark horse. That's the one for me. 2010 might be the one for you, but it was definitely the one with Argentina and Netherlands in their group. Alanga's on for Sweden. Please subscribe, by the way, bottom right hand corner. You're all welcome on That's Football. Next watch along, I'm definitely doing Spurs Newcastle on Sunday. Definitely doing Palace Arsenal on Monday. Definitely doing double watch alongs for the Champions League next Tuesday, Wednesday. Saturday, I will probably do a watch along. I don't think I'm going to do Liverpool Watford on Saturday lunchtime, because I think that's just a dead rubber for Liverpool. But I might do the 3 o'clock kickoffs ahead of the Man United game on United Stand. Who do you think is going to win the World Cup, Jude? Well, I don't think Portugal will win the World Cup, and I don't think England will win the World Cup. Ward-Prowse has just had a great shot, or Wright Phillips as I call him. Did I really call him Wright Phillips? Oh, God. I saw someone in the chat say Wright Phillips, and I thought, I bet I've called Ward-Prowse Wright Phillips. It's the WP. I think France. I wouldn't go beyond France really. I really hope France don't win it. I wouldn't mind seeing Argentina or Brazil win it. When was the last time a non-European team won the World Cup? Was it 2002, or have we had one post that? Mark, it was defo 2010 with Brazil-Portugal group. No, it wasn't D3. I can't believe there are people telling me I'm wrong about my own opinion. You can't be wrong on your own opinion. It was my thing. It wasn't an open question for everybody. It was my thing. I was asked, who do I think will be the dark horse for the World Cup? And I said, I remember the 2006 World Cup when Ivory Coast, I thought they were going to be the dark horse, and they weren't. It was 2002, the last time a non-European team won the World Cup. So I wouldn't mind seeing that. I think France are still favourites for the World Cup, and Brazil have a good shout, says Vignesh. I think Brazil's squad looks really half decent, but the problem with Brazil in the last World Cup is they don't play as a team. They play through Neymar. And that is never a good thing, because your tactics become very obvious. If Brazil play as a team, they could win it. If they play through Neymar, I don't think they will. Could an African team win it? Mate, Smith, I'd love to see it. I'd love to see that happen. I don't think we're quite there yet. But at some point, hopefully it will happen in my lifetime, but at some point it will happen because, as I said, I think the qualification for the African tournament is just, for the World Cup is so competitive. Look at some of these playoffs to go to the World Cup. Senegal against Egypt, Nigeria against Ghana, Ivory Coast, South Africa. They're not even in those qualifiers. So there's some really good competition. Have you seen TalkSport hyping up Moyes for United, says Dan. Imagine if we went back and got David Moyes. What's for dinner? I've had it, Sherlock Holmes. I had salmon, potatoes, and a nice sauce. It was lovely. Michael Ashby says the problem with African teams is they've got good individuals but lack good teams. Is that down to coaching? I didn't cook it, no. I'm not very good at cooking fish unless it's battered and put into a deep fat fryer, in which case I'm not too bad. Who's going to qualify from the I don't even know. Now this is what I'm really going to wander into unknown territory now. How does it work in Asia and Australasia and all that? I mean, God, I can see games here. Australia play Saudi Arabia. United Arab Emirates have beat South Korea 1-0 and they're going to play Australia in the 4th round. I don't even know what's going on here. Iran topped a group. Saudi Arabia topped a group. I don't know. Do they get 5? Poland are 2-0, by the way. North Macedonian player's just gone down here. He's rolling around. I don't know whether the referee's going to review it. North Macedonia come again. Nice little bit of play. Ooh, come on, ref. There's 2 here. Anthony Taylor. Oh, I tell you what. I thought the second one was a pen. I didn't see the first one, and Portugal are going to go and score. Great tackle on Ronaldo on the front post, but Anthony Taylor, has he got this right? Let's have a look. Well, no, we're going to see the replay. I'd like to see the penalties, thanks. So how many people qualify from the Asian and Australasia or Oceania groups? Is it 5? Great tackle that on Ronaldo. They're not showing the penalties. Well, that's not a penalty. Pepe definitely tackles him. And that's not a penalty either from Danilo. So yeah, the first one's definitely not a penalty anyway. 4 qualify from the Asian World Cup qualifiers. I think it might be 5, you know. Because Iran, South Korea, Saudi Arabia and Japan, I think they're all through. But Australia are playing United Arab Emirates. So I think it might be 5. Somebody will know, unless they do a playoff against the North Americans. Off topic, a must rep had an interview about their shares plan. If these are the prats who represent us, no wonder the board laughs at us. Shame. Don't know what that means, Mario. And Mark, do you think if Brazil or Argentina were part of the Euros, they would have made it to at least the semis? The current state of European national sides is quite average. Don't know, Sahaj. I think that's a great point. Mark, would anything change your mind on Poch? Says D3. No. Monday says 4 automatics go through from the Asian groups and then there's a playoff against somebody. I don't know who they play off against though. West Asia, East Asia, Southeast Asia and East Asia, you have regional before the final 2 groups. Top 2 from group automatically through. Both third face-off. Winners play intercontinental playoff, says Lay. Who will the intercontinental playoff be against then? North America, I think. Probably Mexico. Oh no, they play 5th place from South America, says Gurav. So who does the 3rd place in the North American groups play? I don't know. It's all getting very complicated now. Damo says that New Zealand will play with Mexico or Costa Rica. I don't know. I'm very confused. How come New Zealand aren't in the Asian qualifiers, but Australia are? Oh, it's a mess. It's an absolute mess. And where does India and Pakistan and everyone else like that play? God, you could get lost in this. I think I need to come out. I need to come out. You're doing the World Cup draw on Friday, says the Honest Tiger. I don't know. I don't know, really. Emir says Australia are too good to be in it. Well, it seems a bit harsh on Australia to take them out of a group that, an area that they should be playing in, when they don't, where they basically qualify every time. But I suppose Australia would then have to play a playoff, won't they? So yeah, I know what you mean. At least Australia have got an opportunity of qualifying in the top 2 and just going to the World Cup. Portugal game's on Sky Action, I think. It's on Sky. And Mexico have qualified already because they're top 3. Thank you, Nicola. Manchester United Supporters Trust, says Mario. Yeah, but I know what must are, but I didn't understand what you were saying to me. I don't know what you're trying to say. I'll try and do the draw on Friday. I just hope it doesn't take like 9 hours. New Zealand are in Oceania qualifiers. India and Pakistan are in Asia qualifiers, says Lele. I couldn't see India and Pakistan in either of the groups. Conor Gallagher's coming on for England now. Still 10 minutes to go. Portugal are heading to the World Cup. I mean, look, Portugal have played a very clever game here tonight. Please subscribe, by the way, bottom right-hand corner. We're only 300 away from 636,000. You're all very welcome on the United Stand, as you on That's Football, as you know. Everyone's welcome on here. Portugal have played a very clever game today. They've not gone gung-ho. They've invited pressure and hit on the break. They've made North Macedonia have a bit of a go, and then they've hurt them on the break. North Macedonia have been decent. They've had a good go, but the quality of Portugal has come through. 2 goals for Bruno. But you know what? Italy must be kicking themselves. Tonight, this was meant to be Italy against Portugal. And I tell you what, I bet Ronaldo just loves it, because he was probably thinking, I might not be going to the World Cup in December. I'm going to be playing against the Euros holders, Italy, in a huge, huge game. And actually, he's ended up against North Macedonia in a game that's been very difficult for them, but they've managed it really well. And Portugal will go to the World Cup. Poland are going to kick Sweden out as well. Sad. India are already out before the final 2 groups, says Lele. Okay, so they do play in that group. So we will see Son in the World Cup. South Korea have qualified. Iran have qualified. Saudi Arabia and Japan have qualified. The winner of Australia against United Arab Emirates will play against the South American whatever place team. Thanks, Louise. What am I going to go and watch tonight? Schitt's Creek. I quite like that. Let me simplify it, Mark. The winner among the 2 third-place sides in the 3rd round of Asian qualifiers play the 5th side from South America, says Sahaj. There you go. Thank you very much. I think the England game's been a bit of a letdown, really. England have played reasonably well, but Ivory Coast have been a complete and utter letdown. That's the trouble with friendlies, isn't it? You know, England have got players that are playing to try and go as part of that World Cup squad. Ivory Coast have got players towards the end of the season who aren't going to the World Cup. So you can see the intensity of England's players is more than Ivory Coast. And also, Ivory Coast have been down to 10 men for half the game. Should we listen to past current players and Fergie and co with Poch over Ten Hag? Plus, from memory, knock Ten Hag out with the poor Spurs versus Ajax as D3. No, I don't think we should. Hi, Mark House, Seb. Unfortunately, Pakistan and India will most likely never make it to World Cup as we mainly put our focus on cricket development, says Hazib. He's good, thanks. He was ill last week, but he's all right now. And, yeah, well, look, not every country can focus on lots and lots of sports. I mean, England, if you think about it, they focused... you watched the United film on Netflix as Raz. I don't know which one it is, Raz. Let me know. You know, England, we do cricket, we do rugby, athletics, football. But if you think about France, they don't play cricket. Think about Germany, they don't play rugby. So there's nothing wrong with a country focusing on certain sports. Hi Mark, hope you and the family are well. Any news on the new manager, please? Has said no. There's some nonsense rumours coming out that Pochettino's been offered the job, but I don't think it's any truth in it. Running down the wing, hear United sing. Cameroon are winning against Algeria, says Ariel. That would be a bit of a shock. A lot of people feel that Algeria are one of the best teams in the African nations. If Southgate was to go, who would you appoint? Says Matty. We've actually spoken about this already, Matty. I think Brendan Rodgers isn't a bad shout, but I would go with Potter. About the Busby Babes, it's just called United, says Raz. If it's the one with David Tennant in it, I have seen that before. Very good. Although, what I would say is, and you can sort of understand why, it's not accurate and it actually leaves out quite a few characters from the real story, but it's good. What's your opinion on the Somalian national team, says Hamza? I don't know. I don't know. I don't follow African football. I didn't even watch the African Cup of Nations. I kept an eye on the results, but I don't follow it enough. But what I do know is that in previous World Cups, I've seen pretty decent Nigerian teams. I've seen pretty decent Ivory Coast teams. And neither of those are in the World Cup. So it shows to me that there is a growing quality within Africa. The competitive nature seems to be very, very high. Mark, it's my birthday. Can you give me a happy birthday, says Ajit. Can we give Ajit a happy birthday? Happy birthday to Ajit. We're into the 90th minute here for Portugal. 2-0 up. I am doing the next Formula 1. We're here for Formula 1 now. That's what we do. Lots of happy birthdays there in the chat. Fantastic community we've got here. Really enjoyed it tonight. I must admit, I'm glad the international break's over and we can focus now on Premier League and Champions League football, which for me is the proper football, and it kicks off again on Saturday. We've got lots of watch-alongs for you. João Felix running through the middle. And I thought that was a foul on João Felix. Anthony Taylor's probably just thought, no, we'll let that go. Wood for the golden boot, says Happy. Well, nothing would make me happier than Wood winning a golden boot. He deserves it. You know, we've had a great relationship, me and Wood, and he might be wearing the black and white of Newcastle, but he'll always be Burnley claret at heart. And don't you worry about me and Wood, because when the season's over, we're going to go on a 3-month piss up to Blackpool. We'll be wankered on the old roller coaster. Don't worry about us. I might be shouting fuck off and getting my top off, but that's me and Woody. Keep the ball for 20 minutes and don't have a shot, like watching paint dry, says Millie. Yeah, well, England should have won this game more than 2-0. Pep or Mourinho, says Sood. Oh, it's got to be Pep, hasn't it, really? I think there was a time when there was a debate about that, but Pep plays a much better standard of football, and his career's gone better. I don't think we'll see Pep drop off, will we? Mourinho unfortunately dropped off at the end at Chelsea. I don't know why it went wrong. I think with Mourinho, I just don't know why it went wrong at Chelsea. I don't know, because I'm not a Chelsea fan, but I just don't know. He wins the league and then 3 months later he's sacked. I don't know what it was. Was it Mourinho had the issue with the coach, or was that a different manager? I don't know what was it, that because he never recovered from that. He never recovered from that. Tuchel or Klopp? I do like Tuchel, Leroy, but it's Klopp. It was the doctor with Mourinho, yeah. Yeah, just something went wrong. Yeah, something went really wrong with Mourinho, and he obviously lost the players because of it, and he never recovered from that. And maybe it was a mortal wound to him that, you know, he was at a club where they loved him. Second time around, he's just won the Premier League, and then he ends up with it going wrong. Holland are 1-1 with Germany. Good result for them. Portugal are through. They're through to the World Cup. Viva Ronaldo. Portugal through to the World Cup. Colombia, Peru, Chile playing for playoffs. It's tight, says Daniel. Viva Ronaldo. Viva Ronaldo. He's going to be at the World Cup. The World Cup would not be the same. It's going to be Messi's last World Cup. It's going to be Ronaldo's last World Cup. These two goats of the game. We will miss them when they're not playing anymore. Whatever you think about, Ronaldo in the World Cup. It's got to happen. It's got to happen, and it will happen. It's such a huge thing. They could have been out, and the World Cup will be better with Ronaldo in it. Is he the same player? No. I can tell you that firsthand. He's not the player he was, but he's still a goat of the game, and he deserves to be in that World Cup. And Portugal have game managed it very well. I don't feel sorry for North Macedonia. They gave it their best, but ultimately their best was not good enough. And it was a great result against Italy, but not to be today. Not to be today. Messi could come back because he'd be 38. Yeah, but Messi always talks about retiring from Argentina every week anyway, didn't he? So I don't know about that. But Portugal go to the World Cup. England are already at the World Cup. Three minutes of added time here for England. Destructor says, thanks, Mark. I've really enjoyed the watch along. Yeah, I've enjoyed it as well. It's been good. Good. And don't forget, we'll be back. We'll have the... I do topical content anyway on here. I did that video the other day about the in fact, actually, you know that video I did about disgrace Super League rules coming in? Apparently they've dropped them now, so that's good. Do you like MotoGP? Thoughts on Valentini Rossi? I've never really watched it, Almari. I haven't really watched it, so I would be a liar. I know who that is, but I don't really watch it. So yeah. England to get knocked out in the quarterfinals, says Michael. Well, it's going to be very interesting, isn't it? World Cup draw on Friday. We don't know everybody who's going to the World Cup yet, because obviously there's going to be a bit of leeway on that with some things that are going on and some playoffs still to be played. But we'll get a good grasp of what the World Cup groups are going to look like on Friday, and then we're going to get something we've never seen before, a Christmas World Cup, a Winter World Cup that's going to massively impact the season next year. I don't necessarily have a massive problem with it as a one-off, because if you think about it, the season will start in early August. We don't get the international breaks in September, October and November. We just get one international break in late September and then the World Cup in November. So we'll get a long run of domestic football at the start of the season, which I think I might enjoy. I actually quite like the idea of not having to play 4 games and then we get a crap international break. There'll be a bit of momentum at the start of the season, which I think will be quite good. Watchalongs on the weekend, says Paul Matt. Yeah, so I'm definitely doing Spurs against Newcastle on Sunday. I'm definitely doing Palace against Arsenal on the Monday. Then we've got the Champions League Watchalongs next Tuesday, Wednesday. I just don't know what Watchalong I'm doing on Saturday, because United are playing Leicester at 5:30. I'll do that on the United stand, and I might do the 3 o'clock kickoffs on here. So we'll see. Netherlands drew 1-1 with Germany, says the King, and Messi's going to win the World Cup with Argentina, says Obap. Apparently they were booing Maguire. I don't understand why they'd be booing Maguire, Davina. It doesn't really make much sense to me. And it's a goal! Tyrone Mings makes it 3-0 at the very end. God. I really don't know what he's... I mean, fair play to the lad, but how is he in the squad over Tomori? I mean, I know Villa fans who don't even think he's that good. But fair play to the lad. He's living the dream. He's scored a goal for England. It's a good header, actually, as well. Southgate smiling. Yeah, well done, England. 3-0. About as entertaining as watching a duck die, but, you know, it's typical England under Southgate. They get the job done, they don't concede a goal, and they win. I mean, I suppose there's not a lot to moan about unless you like watching good football with good tactics. But good result for England. That's the final whistle. 3-0 to England. But more importantly, the GOAT, Ronaldo, is going to the World Cup. Thanks everybody for watching. We've got lots of content on the United Stand for you. I'll be back on there in the morning with Paul Ince at 10:30. Do you think Portugal manager is wasting so much talent by buying shit tactics? Ashik, I do agree with you. I think Portugal don't play good football either. I don't know. I mean, I don't know what Portuguese fans think, but I think Portugal play crap football as well compared to the players that they've actually got. Thanks everyone for watching. Take care. Enjoy the rest of your day, evening, night, whatever you're doing, and I will see you tomorrow, whether it's on Twitch for TUSFC semi-final of the Champions League, United Stand in the morning, or on here for some content as well. Take care everybody. World Cup draw on Friday. Really enjoyed the show. Some really good chat as ever, and I'll speak to you all in a bit. Thanks for watching.